Welcome to the Huff-In-Stuff podcast. Today, we're going to do something, again, different. This time, I'm going to be sharing with you not board games, but a video game of mine. My favorite, or one of my favorites. I don't have a lot of favorite video games. I don't have a lot of them. This one particularly happens to be one that is on the PC. Kind of my go-to right now. This one that I'm going to share with you today is called Panzer Corps. It's based on the old Panzer General back from, I think it was the 90s. Slitherine is the company that took it and sort of changed some of the graphics on it to make it look better, make it look a little more gritty, and a little bit more like there's some shading on the units and some of the backgrounds, and it looks pretty good. But it still is sort of like 2D, turn-based strategy war game, and I love history. I absolutely love World War II, and why Europe and America is in the place that it's in today is directly because of World War I and World War II. And this game I just absolutely love. I've gotten all the different expansions to it. So without further ado, let's take a look. Okay, so here we go with the Panzer General game. As I was telling you about, it's my favorite go-to game. Can't tell you how many tons of hours I've logged on this darn thing. I'm just going to click on new game just to kind of show you what it is. I'm going to play the Germans, 1939-1945 historical campaign. Now when you go to the next step, they're going to ask you, here we are, the officer that's going to be instructing you is going to give you just sort of an idea of what your objectives are and all that. 1 of 17. There's a cloudy for the next day, but today's a clear day, it says. 1 of 17 moves, so you got 17 turns to capture all 5 objectives. Objectives, you can tell, that's a zoomed out view of the battlefield. There are the units that they give you. You can upgrade these and buy new units. Well, when you first start, you probably want to buy here. We're buying some new units. Generally, you want to have as much artillery and Luftwaffe if you're the Germans, or the Army Air Corps if you're the Americans. Aircraft and artillery, you're going to want a lot of that. So anyways, here I am buying a Stutka. Here's one that I'm buying some more artillery. Make sure that you've got a truck to help. Otherwise, it only moves 1 hex. The truck gives you the ability to move multiple hexes. Anyways, here I am buying not enough prestige. Total cost is 242, but I only have, you can see up at the top right hand corner, 231. You can see up way up at the top. So I can't buy any more artillery. It's a shame because, boy, it's so powerful. Here I am moving the units into place. That's my first objective until I get to the main objective, which is the gold trim around the Polish flag. And I'm not attacking yet because what you want to do in games like this is you want to move all your units into place and then shell them with some kind of artillery, some kind of air force. And here I am attacking with one of my airplanes to sort of, soften them up, I guess is the word. And I'm moving my fighters close to my other aircraft. Those little weird lines there next to the city, which the city has a gold border around it, that's your main objective. Those are dug-in positions. Here I'm moving another infantry unit up, but those lines there, as you see next to the gold. Here's your different, over on the right-hand side, your toggle list of things. This just shows all your units on the battlefield. Information, if you highlight one of your units and then hit that I. These are just some different buttons you're going to be able to use. I find that this game just is amazing. Yeah, it's not on the same level as some of these other games you've seen. It's, as far as like a tabletop feel. You know, you got turns and all that. Next day, looks like the forecast. See there, 231 prestige. Prestige is basically money that you can buy things. Now I've just clicked on the unit. Now it's the turn of the computer. It's his turn. The IA is playing. Now we're back to my turn. I have 5 turns to capture all those gold flags, or the gold outline flags. And now I'm going to be attacking with my fighters here to take out their air force. It is essential to have total control of the skies, because that air power will kill the tanks or any other hard points. whether that be tanks or pillboxes. Usually your Air Force will do that for you. Our infantry is not a good thing to do because it'll just get eaten up against some of these things. And infantry are usually only good to attack other infantry. There are certain rules behind each unit, and if you don't use certain units against other units, then it just won't work. And you'll see here, I'm moving. Oh, got too close to that city. You don't want to get too close with the soft units that you have. Artillery is so important. You got to move stuff fast. You only have like a limited amount of turns. If you don't get to those objectives in the amount of time they've given you, you will fail. And generally people, when they play these types of games, like the campaign. They just don't like just one-offs. And I've done one-offs, but the campaign is really where it's at. And so you got to move to get to these spots. So here I am moving my looking for a target for my Stukas to attack. He only got killed one. Here comes a tank. I'm going to move him towards the main place where I need to go further and capture that point. Watch, and I'll get more. Once I capture that, I'll get more prestige. Anytime you capture a city, or anytime there's a flag captured and it switches over, you can see how it's switching over, you'll get... That's where you sleep. Let's say I don't want to move this guy. I can hit ZZ, he'll sleep. And then that means I don't want to move him. So for whatever reason. I'm gonna go on and move on to a different... I'm going to go to the Americans campaign and just show you guys what you can expect with the American side. This is more... There's more to this because that was a starting one, but this American one is after D-Day, Cherbourg, and here's all the American units, and so the start of this particular not campaign, but this particular battle, you're putting down all your units, and as I said before, artillery is that's main importance. It'll take out any infantry. Artillery, super important to have artillery, and the best artillery you can afford, because everything costs prestige in this game. Prestige is money, like I said before, and you can go through and you need to put down some air support, which are air artillery there, AA guns, I guess you could say, and they're my tanks. I'll put them down. Tanks are important, but they're not that important in this game. This game really pushes... now I'm going to take off an artillery unit and put down a tank instead, because maybe I need some more artillery in this one area. Putting down some airplane, or the Army Air Corps for the United States. Super important to have ground attack bombers, kind of like, I guess you'd call them light bombers, attack that will take out tanks. Infantry and artillery won't do it, so that's why you got to have the airplanes, and you got to have the fighters in order to take on the other fighters from the opponent that you have. And let me tell you, air superiority is buco important, just like having a lot of artillery is buco important. Here I'm laying down all my artillery, getting that ready. And I'm zoomed out too. This view is not the view I usually like to play with, but it's when I'm placing units, this is a good one to have with the zoom out view. I'm trying to put down all this stuff, and you only have a limited amount of spots to put them down. So, and you'll find as soon as I put down one or two more, it'll shut down. It'll say you can only put so many units on the battlefield. Well, there's a cheat code I use, and it's Control-Alt-Shift-C. Again, those keys are Control-Alt-Shift-C, and then you can put down more. And that's what I did. Here, now it's my first turn, and I'm going to use my fighters to sort of scout and see what units I can attack later with my bombers, because those bombers want to get to work immediately on armor, and I shouldn't have done that, because that Panzer was being protected by AA gun or our anti-aircraft cannons. So I'm moving everybody up, because you got to keep moving. Every turn you've got to move because you only have a limited amount of time to get those objectives. If you don't, they'll fail you, and then that's the end of the game. So, at the end of your campaign even. So you've got to move fast. And every turn, you've got to be moving your units forward and towards those objectives with the gold border around the flag. That's your main objective. So here I'm moving tanks, and those are usually in the front. And I don't always, especially in the American tanks. Of course, the American tanks are not very great. They're not very good. Here I'm attacking ground units, and you can see once you select, you can see the numbers there. See, like here is, if I try to attack a bomber against the anti-aircraft gun, I'm going to get bad numbers. This is, see the red numbers, what I'm going to lose if I attack. That one's not too bad. It's 2-for-1 deal. Ooh, I got 3 out of that attack. Instead of the 2 it said. So I mean, they have like these secret numbers that they roll the dice for, so they're moving. And in this case, I'm trying to figure out, oh, I can upgrade here. Maybe I want to upgrade to, because I've got enough prestige, money. I'm going to see what my numbers are. If you look at the very right, you can see the numbers there. The numbers on the left there are what you have and what you're upgrading, and the numbers on the right are what potentially it's going to go to if you purchase that unit. So here it's 14, 19. Yeah, upgrade to a Hellcat instead of just a regular, artillery for anti-tank artillery. Here's some more things. That's if you want to upgrade or give replacements. Let's say you got hit, some of your infantry. You want to hit the plus sign over there on the top right-hand corner, and it'll give you more units. That's the amount of money you have, prestige. So what I'm going to show you now is how to get more. And what, it didn't show it, but it's Control-Alt-Shift-C. You type in prestige and then the number of prestige you want. Here are the available units you can buy. This is all artillery. Buku importance, as I said, or the most important thing you can have in your army is artillery, in my opinion. You got to have tanks to kind of screen the rest of the guys. They're almost like shields for your artillery. And then, of course, I have infantry, of course, to capture points and attack other infantry. But usually infantry is the best when it comes to, infantry when it comes to trying to capture certain points or whatnot. And those points are, usually like if you want to attack a pillbox or something, infantry is good for that. But usually you want to have, what do you call them? Engineers or something, so that way they can maybe place a bomb on there or something. But again, Panzer General was one of my favorites back in the day, and now that Slitherine, I got it through Steam, and now I use it with with the new. See, Panzer General won't work on the newer computers, the new Windows platform. So Steam went back and Slitherine and remade Panzer General, and thank God, because boy, I played a lot. I hope this has helped. And if you like war games, if you like strategy-based games that have a lot of history to them, try this out. You'll really like it, I think, if you like war games and you like history and that sort of thing.